Dr. Stone is the most underrated anime of all time. And I honestly believe this because the show is so great, but never got any appreciation for how good it actually was. I know the word gets thrown around a lot, but for this anime, I genuinely believe it. Look, I know the show on Mal boasts a great score of 8.29, but today we'll be talking about Dr. Stone and why I think it's great and why I think it was never hyped up as other shonen. Also, I want to convince you, the watcher, if you have not seen it yet, to watch the anime, because you will not regret it. But before we start this video, if you have not yet hit the subscribe button, please do. I have so much more content coming in the near future you do not want to miss out on. Now, let's continue with the video. Dr. Stone aired on July 5th, 2019. It was a summer seasonal that I didn't actually pick up till midway through the season. I remember going to Anime Expo in 2019 and seeing all the Dr. Stone stuff, but never hearing much about it. I picked it up on a whim, and since then, I have been so encaptured by what the anime had to offer. It's a unique storyline that is actually good, and the show starts up with this guy named Taiju getting ready to confess his love to this girl. But before he goes, he meets up with his best friend, Senku. Right as he's about to confess his love to her, there's a super bright green light in the air, and every human on Earth was turned to stone. What keeps Taiju going all these years is his love for this girl, and he feels like he must confess one day. Several millennia later, Taiju awakens and finds the modern world completely non-existent. The first thing he does is look for Yuzihara, the girl that he was going to confess to. As nature flourished through the years, the land did not look at all as it once did. Taiju finds her and then finds a note that Senku left for him. Senku is the main character in this anime, and he is a science-loving friend of Taiju. Taiju then learns that Senku has developed a grand plan to launch a complete revival of civilization with science and turn everyone that is stone back to normal. Taiju's strength and Senku's brains become a dynamic duo and start to rebuild mankind. They find a way to use nitric acid to their benefit, and it helps revive people from being encapsulated in stone. Of course, this is not going to be all sunshine and rainbows. They later on meet many challenges and many hardships as well that they must encounter. The biggest and most major encounter of the first two seasons is Tsukasa. This man was revived by Senku and Taiju because they believed they needed him for his great strength in hunting and food gathering. They had gotten cornered by some tigers and were about to die when they saw him, and they had to splash it on him. Tsukasa starts off nice, but ends up coming up with a plan that he wants to keep the world for younger people and not revive any of the older people who were quote-unquote tainted. This ends up not aligning with either Senku's or Taiju's visions, and because of this, conflict starts between the two groups. This starts a war between the groups over the cave where they get the nitric acid. That's the basic premise of this show. But what this show does very well is bring forth really great fight scenes, and on top of that, an amazing story. I really enjoy how this show is able to make me laugh at some of the most intense moments. This show explains science in a way that I, a dumb anime YouTuber, can understand. There's one point in the show where they literally tell you how to make gunpowder and then blur out the instructions on how to make a bomb as well. The way Senku is able to gather a group of people around him that just complement him so well is perfect. Later on, you meet one of my favorite characters, Gen. He is a mentalist, so he's able to get people to do things for him without them realizing, and also play mind tricks on other people as well. The pair between Gen and Senku just works out hand in hand. They currently have 2 seasons with a new episode that just aired, showing off the new character they just revived, Ryusu. This episode was great because now we are getting into the world building arc. I'm actually fully caught up on the manga, which finished not too long ago. I'm super excited for what is to come for this anime though, because the second season was just as good as the first, and with this latest episode, it made me realize, why does no one talk about this anime? Honestly, in my opinion, it was one of the best shonen in recent years, and for some reason, it never gets mentioned by anyone. This anime should be pulling in more viewers with how good it actually was, and I really hope this video can bring some of you to watch it as well that have not watched it. So back to my question, why was Dr. Stone not as hyped up as other shonen? I believe a few things get in the way of that. First of all, as much as I personally like the take on animation, I can see why others may not like it. It's different, and if you're a newer anime watcher, like many are nowadays, I can see why at first glance the animation would throw you off. It's very different than the generic slice of lifestyle you have nowadays. After a while, you actually start to appreciate the artwork because it looks really good in some scenes, and it actually creates fights that look even better because of it. Another reason I believe it didn't go as well to other shows is because when it chose that came out. In 2019, we had so many shows aired, such as Vinland Saga, Fire Force, Danmachi, Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan, One Punch Man, My Hero Academia, Sword Art Online, and the list just goes on and on and on. I think coming out in a year that was just so stacked did not do it justice, especially as a new show where some of these shows had already developed hype. On top of that, other than them pushing the show out at Anime Expo, I did not see much marketing on the show as well. It was never picked up by many for that reason. I'm putting out this video in hopes that many of you will start to watch it and pick it up now, because I really do think this anime deserves more than it was given. And honestly, in my opinion, was better than 95% of others shown in the last 5 years. Yep, I said it. Plus, OP3 is so good. Like, holy shit. If you like this video, hit this video with a like and subscribe. I have so much more content coming in the near future and you don't want to miss out on. Also, if you want sneak peeks at future videos or just want to hear me rant about anime booba, follow me on Twitter. See you in the next one.